Okay, so I decided to do a video of this because I figured it would be much easier. And I also did decide to do it in my kitchen, so I have a place to put my phone so it's steady because my hands are shaking right now. And also because my kitchen is one of my comfort places. When I'm stressed, I cook. I bake specifically. Because just especially making dough kind of relaxes me a lot. And since that's what this video is going to be about, it's for those of you who don't know, it's Bell Let's Talk Day. And obviously, if you're watching this, you know mental health is something that I speak about a lot. Specifically anxiety, because that's my experience. So I love talking. So I figured I should use that to share with others and take advantage of that and share my experiences. And it's amazing how much I've learned about other people since being open, because me being open, they tend to be open with me, and I've learned that I'm not alone. And not only just ways to deal with it, but sometimes learning that you're not alone is very helpful. So this year, Bell Let's Talk this year is more important, not necessarily more important, but I think it's exceptionally important this year because it was an exceptionally tough year, not just for people who normally suffer with mental health issues, but for a lot of other people too with the pandemic. It's caused a lot, which is, it's nice that, in a sense, that it's brought mental health awareness more to the forefront. A lot of the governments have been a lot more proactive. There's a lot more resources online, both federally and for me in BC provincially as well, to help reach out. And I think, and for me personally, it's been an exceptionally tough year. Not just for the pandemic, but my mom died this past year. It'll almost, in about a week or so, it'll be exactly a year. It'll be the 1 year anniversary. So that was really rough. And then we also had another family tragedy this past year shortly after. So, and then the pandemic kind of compounded on that. So this year, I think, talking, there's not a lot that can be done. For me, I know one of the biggest things, and part of the reason I haven't used a lot of the resources as a personal, is because, it's hard. I don't know, I feel like I have used the crisis line before, so that's been helpful, but it wasn't because of anxiety. It was feeling after my mom's death and having to deal with those feelings, and that helped a lot. But there still needs more to be done, and I think that's kind of where talking is great, and I super encourage talking. I've got a therapist too that helps, and he's helped me through a lot of different things. But more is needed, and unfortunately I don't know what that is. I know part of me, I'm a hugger, so I am really missing being able to hug people, because that kind of releases a lot of just like the stress hormone, and just calms me down so much. So not being able to do that just kind of ends everything, and I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm sure there are a lot of other huggers out there who struggle with that, and so that kind of has, made it even worse, where talking's not enough. But this year has brought some good things. I got to talk with one of my favorite actresses in one of my favorite TV shows. So that was like the coolest experience ever. And that was also shortly, that was I think the month or so after my mom died. So I really needed that. So that, I think, more than she ever can ever know, that really helped. Just even though just those few minutes helped so much. And we also, some exciting family stuff happened this year as well. News happened this year as well. So, it wasn't all bad. And I think one of the biggest things that I think is important is to kind of focus on those positive things. And when things are going rough, look to what makes you happy. Look to, no matter how unreasonable it might seem to other people for whatever reason, do it. If it makes you happy, even for a moment, or in my case, I mean, it's still making me happy a year later. It's just do that. And I think that's, and I know for me, I struggle with, I always want to make other people happy. And, with my mom's death, I was kind of focusing on how other people in my family were doing. How my grandmother was doing, how my mom's sisters were doing, how my dad was doing, how my sibling was doing, and it's hard to take the time to focus on yourself. And even though it may sometimes feel selfish, it's important and it's something that I still struggle with. Because as somebody said to me quite frequently, you can't help others if you're depleted. If you're depleted, then if you don't have the energy to help others, then what's good? So taking care of yourself allows you to replenish that energy and thereby actually truly helping others. I also mentioned at the beginning of the year, because it was her, that a friend died of brain cancer a few years ago, and her mom has recently reached out to me a lot, and we've kind of exchanged different things that have helped us. Her deal with the loss of her daughter, and kind of things that might help me deal with the loss of my mom. So that's been really nice. And because I've known her daughter since we were little. She was kind of like a second mom to me in that sense growing up, and I think I mentioned it before. So those type of, and I'm kind of getting on a tangent here. But yeah, and I think one thing that I want to say, I think that Let's Talk Day is important. And of course, it's been oversaid, but it can't just be today. It can't just be once a year. It's got to be every day, every year. And it can't be just talking. Talking is important. Talking and sharing is important. Because not only does it allow other people to help you, but it also, and forget even breaking the stigma. I mean, we talk about a broken leg. We wouldn't keep it to ourselves about a broken leg. But if we just talked about a broken leg, then nothing would get done. So we do have to do more than, just like we have to, when we have a broken leg, we have to get a cast and stay off of it and treat it, as well as telling other people that we have a broken leg. We need to do the same thing with our mental health as well. And I really hope that all the things that have come out, all the supports that have come out with the pandemic happening, not only continue, but also keep improving, keep expanding, keep looking at what more can be done, what is there, how can we help each other, whether it's what we can do as individuals, or what our government can do, if there's something. As I said, I'm happy that these resources are there. I haven't taken advantage of a lot of them, simply because I struggle with that, and that's not fully what I need sometimes. But I don't know what I need, and I don't know what more they can do. But that's what we need to keep focusing on that, keep exploring, okay, what can they do, and keep up with this, this is an opportunity. This, as horrible as this past year has been in the pandemic and everything, it's brought about opportunity, and that's kind of, I try to look at the good in things in shitty situations. From when a dog of mine died when I was in Australia. The dog got sick before I went to Australia. And if she hadn't gotten sick when she did, she would have ended up dying because my parents would have been with me. So my teenage, at the time, brother wouldn't have known how to take care of her. So, at least that burden is not on my brother. And even with my mom, it's brought my brother and I closer. It's brought my dad and I closer, especially. It's brought my aunt and I closer. So as shitty as it is, I try to always look at the good in things, and it's hard. And as my mom used to say, you do need to feel your feelings. You can't not feel them this week, especially. This crying has happened a lot this week, especially for some reason. I don't know why this week has been exceptionally tough, but it has been. So this does still happen. And as my mom said, you do need to feel your feelings. But we kind of look at the positives, and that's kind of what, with Bella Let's Talk Day, okay, people are talking, let's take advantage of this, let's look at the positives of this, let's look at the positives of the pandemic, that it's brought mental health more to the forefront, and kind of push that stigma a little bit back. So now it's like, okay, now that the stigma's starting to be pulled back, let's see how we can address it, let's see how we can heal that broken bone, how we can physically fix it, and I think that's the next step, and I hope that that's where today goes, where we don't just stop talking, just talk about it today, and then kind of move on from it, especially people who don't suffer from any type of mental illness, because as I'm sure other people know, people with mental illness can't just move on, whether it's anxiety, depression, or one of the less talked about ones, one of the ones that still have a greater stigma than anxiety and depression do. We can't just move on, just talk about it once a day and be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna, and move on from it. We can't. That's not good enough. So I hope that's what happens, and I know I will keep advocating and keep talking about it and keep sharing my own experiences, hopefully, with people talking more and more about anything, it becomes more and more like a broken leg, something that we're able to deal with, and not something that has to be hidden or has to be ashamed. I know even I struggle to take off mental days for work. Yet if I broke a leg, or if I was was actually sick, physically sick, no problem. Yep, can call in sick. But for some reason on mental health, it still has that. And I think that will be the ultimate test, when we could call in sick for work because we're having an exceptionally rough mental day, and it's okay. And it's treated just like as if we were physically sick, because essentially it really isn't that different. So keep talking. Let's keep talking, Canada and the world, and let's be the change that we want to see. So